Sophie. Oh, yeah. All right. So good afternoon to all of you. Registered RadTech or Diagnostic Radiographer from the Philippines, located in several locations. So good evening. So I think it's 6 o'clock here in Melbourne. Good evening to all my case officers and managers. So we do have here Miss Ali Watts of RPS Sydney. We do have Miss Burns of RPS Singapore. And of course, RPS Batangas. We have Angel and Miss Maricel. And of course, Miss Guainet Salcedo of Makati, RPS Makati. And of course, to our registered radiographers from the Philippines. So wherever you are, good evening to all of you. And thank you so much for attending our information seminar this afternoon. So I always hold free information seminar for different professions every Sunday because I think this is a bit of my downtime, no, for from a busy week. I've been working. My work here in Melbourne is very busy because we do have a lot of services. For those of you who don't know me yet, so my name is Attorney Renante P. Sudit. I'm a registered migration agent here in Australia and my MARA number is 1382407. I am a lawyer by profession in the Philippines. I am running two companies here in Australia. One is RPS Migration Services, which has been in the industry for over a decade and has um, given a mark or has changed the way migration insofar as medical professions is concerned. So our contribution is so immense, it's so unparalleled, especially with regard to our internationally qualified nurses, internationally qualified medical radiographer, med techs, and others, no? And of course, our physiotherapists on deck, and of course, our med tech as well, and of course, the engineers on the other side of the fence. So I highly specialize in general skilled migration, but the good thing about RPS migration is that I do have the the non-migration part and the migration part because here in Australia, before you become a resident, some professions or some skills have to be worked on. Say, for example, if you are a medical professional, if you are a rad tech, so you do have to do a certain part of your licensing or a certain part of your skills assessment, no, as the same with nurses and other professionals. Okay, where is RPS located? RPS is located here in Melbourne, no? In level 7, 470 Collins Street. And we have been in this industry for over a decade already. And we are very happy, we are very proud that we are waving the flag of the Philippines here in Melbourne because I think RPS Migration is the only migration firm here in Australia that has been operating in CBD for over a decade. No, so that is one thing that we are very proud of. And we have several locations. We have RPS Sydney, RPS Queensland, RPS Singapore, RPS Dubai, and of course several locations in the Philippines like Makati, our main center in Makati. We have Batangas, we have Baguio, we have Davao, we have Iloilo, no, we have Zamboanga as well. So those are the locations of RPS migration. So whenever you are talking to a registered migration agent, you have to know the number. I always say MARAW number 1382407 because if you are dealing with a registered migration agent, you should know the number because that is your assurance that your application is safe, is secured, no? So that is one of the badges, one of the things that you should remember whenever you are dealing with a registered migration agent. no? Because many people now today, so many scammers, uh, maybe you were scammed or some of you have been scammed, no? So you have to really be mindful on how to really know the people you are dealing with. Okay, right. And aside from RPS migration, I also own Australian certified trainers. Maybe you have heard of it. So the Australian certified trainers is my training arm, my training center. So it offers several services, like, for example, for nurses, we do have NCLEX, we do have OSCE, which is the front runner of the OBA here in Australia. So if RPS is really an excellent migration firm, so it is the counterpart of RPS for the training center is the Australian certified trainers. So not only nurses, we do have as well the radiographer. Do you know that Australian Certified Trainers, or the ACT, is the only training center here in Australia that is offering the training for the national exam for radiographer? No? And of course, we do have as well our English department. Okay, Miss Mary is here. So we do have as well our English department. So insofar as your PT is concerned, or IELTS is concerned, or OET is concerned, um, it is really solved already. So it is already it is already um, I have given already such emphasis on that English test, no? Because PTE, no, PTE has made migration here in Australia, or it revolutionized, no, it revolutionized the migration here in Australia, because I remember PTE was introduced sometime in 2015, 16, something like that, you know. And before, during that time, now Filipinos had a hard time to pass IELTS, but with the introduction of the PTE, it revolutionized many Filipinos, especially the medical professionals, have made it possible to migrate here in Australia. So, and RPS migration has made it possible to for our medical professionals migrate to Australia. So that's one thing, no? Another thing is that we also offer Australian certified trainers also offer the CCL, the credentialed community language. It doesn't make sense now on what is credentialed community language. However, if you are not getting invited for the skilled migration, it will make sense. No, you will know about CCL, and we offer that as well. It is just a para interpreter test, no? So to speak. All right. So, and aside from that, we do have as well the physiotherapist, no, that will be launched very soon. And we are also going to offer the review not only here in Australia, but also in New Zealand. So we are really very dynamic. No, ACT is very dynamic. It has so many services that encompasses a lot of things. Okay, now let me see. So today I'm going to discuss with you your pathway as medical radiographer. No? So you are called here as medical diagnostic radiographer if you are a rad tech from the Philippines. And also we do have as well the radiation therapist, and we have the nuclear medical technologists. Okay, so but the bottom line of which is that you have your Bachelor of Science um, the in RadTech, no, radiation technologies back in the Philippines. Now, let's talk about our expectations for tonight. Number one is that you will know your pathway on how to become a registered rad tech here in Australia. Number two, you will know as well how to become a resident here in Australia. And number three, you will know that you can apply simultaneously. It's not one after the other, unlike with nurses that you have to do this first, the theoretical, and then the clinical second. In in RadTech, it can go simultaneously, no? If you are eligible for both. So the pre-assessment at RPS Migration will help you, no, identify whether you are eligible for both or for one. So of course, there is always a pre-assessment that we are doing. That's why RPS migration is a very is the favorite of all rad techs because we assess our clients very meticulously. Okay, let's start. Um, so you may ask your questions towards the end, or you may type your questions, no, in our chat box. You may remain on mute while my discussion is ongoing, and you may just type your questions in the chat box so that I can address that later. Okay, so and of course, in our chat box, we do have as well some numbers where you can contact if you are with a certain case officer. You have to communicate with your case officer because we do have a lot of case officers. Okay, so and if you initially uh, uh, have communicated with our case officer, it will be fine. Okay, so because I will be looking after you until you get your migration goals, whether it is registration or whether it is the residency goal. Okay, so sit back, relax, and uh, watch the presentation for tonight. Okay, it is a fast track registration and residency for RadTech through MRPE with PT Made Easy. From this program, you will see that there is a lot of services that we can offer. Number one is registration. So how do you become a registered RadTech here in Australia? No other agents can do it because they have no time to really read or to really research or to really devote their time on how to understand the the terms, no, the terms and other idiosyncrasies of the program, no, of registration of RadTech. So and of course, so residency, I marry the registration with residency so that it is a secured investment, no. Um, and of course, what is this MRPE? We are going to discuss that. MRPE, it is the Medical Radiation Practitioners Examination, or what you call the National Examination for Medical Diagnostic Radiographer here in Australia. But we can either call it as National Exam or MRPE for brevity, whichever you choose. Now, so this is for radiographers, radiation therapists, and nuclear medicine technologists. So it is not for sonographer. It is not for the other one. There is another classification of medical diagnostic radiographer. So it's like sono. Okay. So, but in Australia, this examination and this pathway is for radiographer, radiation therapist, and nuclear medicine technologists. If you are a sonographer, I will have a look on your qualifications. Maybe you still have their diagnostic radiography and radiation therapists or nuclear medicine technologists because sonographer has another pathway. Unlike in New Zealand, wherein um, they do have as well the examination for sonographer and the other term. I forgot the other classification of medical diagnostic radiographer or other practice. So there in New Zealand, once you pass the examination, you will become a registered sonographer, no? And as well for medical diagnostic radiographer, radiation therapist, and nuclear medicine technologists. However, no, though you pass your examination, for example, in New Zealand, no, or in Australia, you though you can register in each other's country. That is called the Trans-Tasman recognition, meaning to say that your registration in Australia will be recognized in New Zealand and vice versa, except for sonographer. Okay, except for sonographer. So you cannot. Okay, if there is no sono in Australia, I can go to New Zealand, take the examination there, and once get registered, I can do the Trans-Tasman and go to Australia. That doesn't go that way. No, they patch the loophole. So only for radiographer, radiation therapists, and nuclear medicine technologists. Okay. All right, so there are several modes of assessment, no? Mode of assessment insofar as my program is concerned. So APRA through MRPE, or the National Exam for Medical Radiation Practitioners, and the ASMERT, the assessment body for medical radiation practitioners. So, meaning to say that there are two pathways on how to, there are two pathways for radiographer here in Australia. Number one is your registration. Once you pass your examination here in Australia, in one attempt, two attempts, three attempts, no more four attempts because it's only three attempts. So you will become a registered rad tech. And then, of course, you also applied for the ASMERT. ASMERT is the skills assessment body that is leading to your residency. So meaning to say that you may be a registered a registered rad tech, but not resident, or you may be a resident but not a registered rad tech. So there are two scenarios that you can create here insofar as the mode of assessment is concerned. So don't you worry, we can guide you on both. Now, what is the Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition? I have already given you, I have preempted that. So I have already given you such information that this Trans-Tasman Recognition is the agreement or the arrangement. So they use the arrangement, no? The arrangement between two countries like New Zealand and Australia to recognize certain professions, not all professions, because this is guided by a legislative instrument here in Australia. It is just like, okay, let's agree. No. So there are certain professions which you can apply for TTMR, for example, nurses, midwife, rad tech, except for sonographer, teachers. So you can also apply for TTMR, registered migration agent. I was a registered practitioner in New Zealand, but I gave it up because I do have a lot of things to do in Australia. I cannot do that anymore. Okay, so I am already bombarded with a lot of clients here in Australia, so that's why I am concentrating here in Australia. So that is the Trans-Tasman recognition for your information purposes only. All right, so what is the national exam? No, the national exam for medical radiation practice. No, so this is based on the professional capabilities for medical radiation practice. Okay, so outlines the entry level professional competence for the three divisions, such as the rad tech or the therapist or the technologist, the nuclear. All right. It is the entry level. So your examination will not revolve around advanced, no? Will not revolve around advanced knowledge or advanced competencies. It is all about entry level professional competencies. Review, critique, analyze, consolidate, and synthesize knowledge, and apply professional judgment in alignment with professional standards. Insofar as professional judgment, it is called the clinical judgment. And here in Australia, when you say clinical judgment, it must be evidence-based. So you have the information already at your hand, then you decide. That is what you call clinical judgment or evidence-based judgment. That's simple. All right. Now, examination may be required by the board. So what is the board? The Medical Radiation Practice Board, MRPB. Because here in Australia, APRA has several boards. The board that guides, that regulates, or that assists RadTech is MRPB, the Medical Radiation Professional Practitioners Board. Okay, for nurses, it is the NMBA, the Nurses and Midwifery Board of Australia. So there are several boards for APRA. Okay, so and one of the boards that assists, no, that monitors RadTech is the MRPB. So it requires, no, sorry, so the board requires examination if an application for registration is under consideration. Say, for example, we send our application to APRA, and then they are going to consider your registration application. Actually, the moment you apply to APRA, it is an application for registration, and then they assess. Okay, and then the candidate lacks qualifications for general registration. There is always something that is lacking insofar as your profession or your qualification is concerned in the Philippines. Maybe one of the standards is not met, no? So, and all you need to do is to bridge that gap. And how to bridge that gap? Uh, Through the examination. No? Another is the candidate is returning to practice after a significant absence. So here, the candidate is returning to practice. It contemplates that you were registered not elsewhere but in Australia. Okay, so that you will not be confused on this. The candidate is returning to practice after a significant absence. So it's not you. It's the previous um, registrants here in Australia. So there are concerns about the practitioner's ability to practice safely. Say, for example, you were registered already, or you've been registered here in Australia, and suddenly so many instances of errors that you are committing. So therefore, once you get uh, once you get complaint with the board, no, then the board may require you to take the examination. Okay, so where do we fall? No, where is our application? So number one is that the application for registration is under consideration, and the candidate lacks qualifications for general registration. So for those two points, salient points, are the things why MRPB require us to sit for the examination. Right. What is the pass mark? No, what is the pass mark for the examination? So, but before that, I would like to tell you that there are only 4 instances of examinations in Australia. It's not monthly. Okay, so and the limit of the number of attempts are here. So anyway, and in the examination, and the examination is being done, no, at the comfort of your home. So the pass mark is that the board calibrates exam regularly using final year students and recent graduates to establish baseline performance. The current pass mark for the exam is a minimum of 65% in both Part A common capabilities and Part B division specific capabilities. So what is the meaning of that? So 65% in both, okay, not in each, no, in both. Part A common capabilities, so it's like a general thing, general knowledge about radiation, about medical radiation, um, diagnostic radiography. Okay, and then the part B is the division specific capabilities. For example, if you are a radiation therapist, so most of the questions will fall on your on that specific capabilities, rad tech, nuclear medical, and the other one is the radiation therapist. So you have your part B. So you don't you worry about, oh, I've been practicing as a radiation therapist, I have only radiographer. The examination is for those 3, and the first part is the general knowledge um, about the radiography, maybe about the code and ethical standards, the communication, something like that. No? And the specific capabilities is about the X-ray and about the other one. Okay, so that's how and the passing is 65%. Limit on the number of attempts. If a candidate has attempted and failed the examination 3 times, they will not be allowed to attempt or register to sit the exam again. Okay, so only 3. However, if you have like a reasonable cause, on why you need to take the fourth examination, you may appeal up to fourth only. But here, only 3 attempts. Do not make it a hobby. No, take it for the first in your first attempt through the help of Australian certified trainers. Many are testing themselves. Okay, I can do it myself, and then after that they failed. They came to us and they passed. You see, do not um do not have that mindset, no, because we can help you. There are people who can help you, and we are here in Australia, and then we can guide you better. All right. The online proctored examination, what does it mean? So it is permitted by the board through an approved online platform. So there is an online platform wherein you are going to have to log on, and you should know the time zone. Okay, the time zone here in Australia as of the moment is 2 hours advance from the Philippine time. Okay, so if you take your examination in summer, maybe we are 3 hours away from you. So you have to be very mindful of that time zone. I have one client who was or who took the examination, or who was about to take the examination for midwife. So when he was about to log on, the examination was already finished. You see? Oh, because he's not checking the time zone. All right. Conducted in the candidate's own environment with live monitoring by the exam provider. Say, for example, like this one. So the board, no, will require me to show my background. It it don't it is not allowed to have like this blurry background. It has to be solid background, white background. Not no one is around you. Okay, so that's how you take the examination. The internet connection, has to be solid. So maybe you have to go to the hotel. Okay, or if you are in Makati, I do have there a room, no, with a very good internet connection, and it can be an examination room as well. Okay, in our Makati office. Strict conditions apply, must follow all exam and proctor instructions, must not attempt to bypass monitoring or exam integrity exams. Non-compliance may lead to removal, which still counts as an official exam attempt. Okay? The national examination, you must provide your own computer or laptop. Okay, and your laptop must not have anything there, because you are going to download a certain applications that will block all the programs in um, your laptop. A device that meets all technical requirements of the exam platform. If, for example, you are not techie, or like um, a computer literate or prolific with regard to computer, you need to know the basic. Okay, because, or maybe you are in the new generation, no, you belong to the new generation, you should at least know how to operate the computer. So I'm just surprised sometimes. I happen to meet some nurses who can't even think about how to really log on a certain platform, and how to really manipulate the technology. I'm just surprised, no? So, because for you, if you are a rad tech, you are going to operate a lot of computers here in Australia, and all computerized, you really have to be computer literate. Now, stable internet access as required by the provider. Okay. Now, let's talk about the MRPE review at ACT, now at the Australian Certified Trainers. Australian Certified Trainers is the only review center in Australia that is delivering the most comprehensive training for MRPE candidates, because no one has ever given such attention for RadTech. But I am very interested in how to build the number of rad techs here in Australia because we need a lot of medical diagnostic radiographer. It is on the list, no, of the immigration for over a decade, and it is very surprising that no one is really assisting our rad tech. So that's why RPS has decided to include that in our services in Australian certified trainers. And we're very happy because we are producing a lot of passers and they are now registered RadTech in Australia. Now, it has 5 sessions per intake. So every week, either Saturday or Sunday, you are going to have a 3-hour session just like this with our trainer. So, and there are only 5 candidates in the class because we don't want to have uh, so many participants. If we have like 10 participants, we break that into classes. That's how exclusive our um, our class is, you know. And we really mean business. We really want to help you pass the examination. Okay, you have your own platform, the LMS Access 24/7, wherein there are pre-test, post-test, mock tests, and of course, you have your access with the several lectures. If you, for example, didn't get the lecture, didn't attend the lecture, there are recorded lectures which you can watch. And then, of course, there are also interactive sessions. No? So, and it is unlimited. Whenever, for example, you don't feel like very much ready to take the examination, you might as well join the class, just inform the ACT. Held online every weekend as scheduled and facilitated by the Australian certified trainer who is here in Australia. Okay, look at our passer, the recent passers. No, I think this is last April because the result was last April or May. So that's Eliza Pavian, no, from the Philippines as well. We do have Bettina Orbiston. The one thing that I noticed about Radtech, they are all beautiful. No, they are like beauty queens. No, so okay, Mr. Raul Cuevas is from Darwin. No, they are all on student visa here in Australia, and I am creating a pathway for them to become a resident here in Australia. Here is Hazel Aclon, and of course, Christy Cibulo. Christy Cibulo, you was a top notcher back in the Philippines. I think a she secured a top 9 in the examination for RadTech in her time. Okay, and now she is a registered RadTech here in Australia. So, Rasha Shino from Nueva Vizcaya, University of St. La Salette, of course, Celine de la Cruz of UK. So, for example, if you become a registered rad tech in UK, you cannot have the mutual recognition here in Australia. You need to take the examination as well. So that is so surprising considering that UK and Australia are both Commonwealth countries, and Australia, of course, is used to be under no used to be a territory or state of under the rule of the UK. Now, let me see. I would like to check. No, I would like to check with you some of the registration of our nurses of our RadTech in Australia. So I showed you some names. For example, the name of Eliza Pavian. So let's research whether Eliza Pavian is already registered in Australia. Okay, Eliza Pavian. So let me see. Okay, Pavian. So APRAN and national boards, this is the role of all registered medical professionals in Australia. So whenever your friend is claiming to be I'm a registered drug tech already in Australia, how about you? So you may check. So just like us, registered migration agent, we do have our own website wherein you can check. No? You can check the registration. Okay, let me see if, what's that? Eliza Pabian. Where is Eliza Pabian? Let me see. So many Pabian. Is Eliza Fabian. It's all nurses. So maybe let's have some name. No result. There you go. Miss Eliza Cassandra Pavian from South Australia, Port Augusta. Diagnostic radiographer, medical radiation practitioner. So let's see her registration. See, that's her registration. No? So she is now a registered rad tech here in Australia. All right, so she is on student visa. She was wondering how to be. I registered RadTech and now we help her. Now how about um how about Cuevas? Okay, Cuevas. Cuevas. Raul Cuevas. Mr. Raul Cuevas. There you go. Mr. Raul Cuevas, medical radiation practitioner from Darwin. There you go. He is also he's already a registered rad tech here in Australia. Because the good thing about the rad tech, once you pass the test, you already have your English test, and all you need to do is to apply for registration. That's so fast. So here, registration expiry date you have here, and now what is the essence of having your registration here in Australia, for example? So the essence of which is that you can apply for the job. You are already qualified for the exam. You are already a qualified professional. So there is nothing that is needed for you, no, not to be hired for the job, except for your experience. Say, for example, if you have 1 year of experience, you are qualified to apply for sponsorship here in Australia. If you have less than a year of experience, just have more experience, and then you can apply for sponsorship. There is a lot of sponsorship for medical diagnostic radiographer. Have you ever heard of an agency assisting for RadTech? No one, only RPS migration. No, in powered by the Australian certified trainers. You see, so um that is very good. No, that is um a very good pathway for medical diagnostic radiographer. Now let's continue. So, ASMER. So we are done with your registration. So of course, with your English test, all 66 now, not all 65. So we have sent all your papers to APRA, get it reviewed by APRA, ask you to take the examination, and while you are doing it, you are reviewing with ACT, and then um, once you pass your examination, you will get your registration. At the same time, we are going to send your application to ASMERT if you are qualified for the ASMERT. No? Say, for example, if you have like at least 2 years or 3 years of experience, then if I look at your modalities, whether your modality is more on sonographer or for x-ray, or modality is more x-ray diagnostic radiographer, so I will advise you what pathway you are going to take. No? Having said that, so let's talk about the ASMERT. ASMERT is the skills assessing body designated by the Australian Immigration Code, the Department of Home Affairs. No? So that is DHA, the Doha, no? To assess and issue skills assessment for the following occupations: medical, diagnostic radiographer, radiation therapist, and the sonographer. The migration assessment determines whether a person has a proven level of skills and qualifications to move to Australia and practice with one of these professions. So now ASMART is different from APRA. APRA is for registration purposes. ASMART is for skills assessment. Skills assessment is mandatory in the application for residency to become an immigrant. If your goal is to become an immigrant in Australia, to be one of us, of course, you must have the ASMART. No, sometimes ASMART is very strict. No, or ASMART is very strict insofar as your qualification is concerned. You may have passed MRPE, but you may have failed ASMERT. There are several instances like that, no? And why? Okay, let's discuss. Diagnostic radiography and medical imaging and radiation therapy. Overseas gained qualifications in imaging or radiation therapy are not immediately accepted or recognized for the issue of the ASMERT statement of qualifications. No? Because that statement of qualifications and a corresponding skills assessment letter will be required for the application in the Australian immigration. I will include that in the expression of interest because the flow of your application to become an immigrant are the following. Number one, skills assessment. Number two, expression of interest. Number three, nomination if needed. Number four, invitation. Number five, visa lodgement. So that is the steps on how to become an immigrant. No? And the first step is the skills assessment. If you engage RPS migration, we are going to give you the assessment. We will tell you, I think you need to concentrate on this modality, no? Say, for example, your X-ray, how many percent would that be? And then, do you have like the CPD, no, or the continuing professional development, or what do you call that in the Philippines? It's at the seminars and training, something like that, for the last 3 years, and there are certain hours for a year that you need to accomplish. Okay, so that is ASMERT, and we do and ASMERT application is paper based, while APRA is computerized, is online. Now, the look at the migration assessment outcomes. There are three outcomes. Number one, unconditional recognition. Qualifications gained outside Australia will be recognized as equivalent to the Australian standards at the time of qualification, and post-qualification experience is also and the post-qualification experience is also of an acceptable standard. So meaning to say that they are going to assess your qualification and your experience. Okay? Not only the qualification. Here, look, and the post-qualification. Okay? Not your OJT, whatever. A statement of qualification will be granted, and a letter for use in the immigration issued. So in the case of medical ultrasound, a certificate of recognition in ultrasound will be granted. I had one client before in Singapore who was given the medical ultrasound a certificate of recognition. But she's a nurse, huh? Because she had a training in Singapore in ultrasound and as well as in the Philippines under Calleja. So that training were recognized by ASMERT, and she was given the statement of qualification for ultrasound. But our our clients, no, for the successful clients, they receive the statement of qualification. Question: do all clients get the statement of qualification? No, because there are three migration assessment outcomes, and this is beyond the reach. This is beyond the control of RPS migration, guys. No, that is beyond uh, the control. So, for example, what I do is I pre-assess whether you comply with uh, the basic requirements of the skills assessment. Of course, once we lodge it, it is up to the skills assessing body to decide. No, I cannot even influence. Sometimes I have one client who got rejected, who got the rejection of the skills assessment, and she was like asking me to write to the skills assessing body to explain everything. I explained to her the reason of rejection is stated, address it, and we are going to appeal. Okay, so RPS cannot move heaven and earth. It must be evidence based. It is your practice and your qualification. It's very clear, qualification and post qualification experience. So you will not say, why is my friend, no, why did my friend get a statement of qualification? We went to both school, we had the same year of experience. So there will be situations like that, but not the same hospital. Okay, but not the same. So those are the things. So for example, once we lodge our application for ASMERT, if you get a recognition, well and good. If not, we are going to have options for you. Okay, so another is the conditional rejection, and the other one is the rejection. So now, what is the fast track registration to residency program? So this is the original program of RPS Migration Services that helps RadTechs get their registration and residency in Australia. Again, for RadTech, you may become a registered RadTech but not a resident. You may become a resident but not a registered RadTech. These are two different scenarios. This is a combination of non-migration and migration processes designed to assist RadTech's easy transition to Australia. Question: what if I get a rejection in ASMART, but I passed APRA? Would there be a chance for me to become a resident in Australia? The answer is yes, because if you are a registered RadTech, then you work here for 2 years, there is a transition for that, and that is called subclass 186. That's the transition of 482. If you practice here in Australia, if they need a skills assessment, then you can update your professional reference. Of course, you practice in Australia, the same standard for 2 years. Of course, you have a chance to get a positive assessment, and that's very appealable in my opinion. Okay, now, so the goals of the program registration and residency, again, if you become a registered RadTech, it opens opportunities for you for subclass 482. And if, for example, you get your skills assessment ready, so you have 189, 190, 491, and 489, and 186. These are the classes of visa for residency. No, 186 is the transition of 482 after 2 years. But there is also a direct pathway for 186. Now for RadTech for 186, if the employer sponsored you for RadTech. But this is very technical, 186, insofar as RadTech is concerned, because in my analysis, you must have your positive skills assessment and the registration at the same time, because 186 has a nomination. You will be nominated for a job for RadTech medical diagnostic radiographer, and immigration will look into your registration if you are safe to practice, if you have the right to practice in Australia, and the answer is yes. And then they're going to look into your skills assessment to satisfy 186 requirements criteria under migration regulations. So unlike 189, 190, 491, and 489, they don't need the registration. What they need is the skills assessment for the ASMERT. So that's why this is very technical, and this is my job. I will make that easy for you. I will make that job easy for you. The qualities for the 40 qualifies for the 407, so that is a dead uh, added visa. I call it as a dead visa. So eligibility for subclass 4A2. So how will you be eligible? The eligibility to take the examination is much lower than the eligibility for the 4A2 visa, because sometimes for the eligibility to take the examination, the registration and your few months of experience, like number of hours of experience, that's enough. But for the 4A2 visa, meaning how can you be sponsored once you get your registration, you must have at least 1 year of experience, whether it's paid or unpaid. You must be a registered drug tech. You must have an employer ready to sponsor you. You must have been nominated for medical diagnostic radiographer or others as the case may be. Okay, so I'm not going to give you a job. That is very clear. No? So I have been operating for over 10 years. No one has asked me, sir, I engaged you because you said that you are going to give me a job. No one, not even a single person has asked me that. No? Because I am very clear from the outset that my assistance, no, is both registration and residency. If, for example, there will be like employers who are looking for RadTech, I will tell you, okay, you pass your your CV to them. No, but I'm not like meddling whatever, because I'm not a recruiter. Okay, I'm a lawyer myself. I know the laws, and I don't want um to have any issue at that at all. No? Eligibility for subclass 186 or employer sponsored visa. If someone will come to you and say, okay, I'm going to sponsor you, you have to be very, very careful, guys, no? Because there is a lot of scammers. So here are the requirements. Number one, you must have at least 3 years of experience, no? Number two, you must be a registered drug tech. Number three, there must be a sponsorship and nomination. And number four here, you must have your skills assessment. I forgot that skills assessment. Now, for the eligibility for the skilled migration, how to become a registered resident here. So you must pass the points test of at least 65. No, for example, if your age is about 25 to 32, 30 points on your age or experience. For example, 8 years, 15 points. So, and the English test, 10 points. So, those are the points that we will be getting. So, we're going to explain to you that skilled points, no, once we are already there, no, in your pre-assessment with your case officers. Of course, the costs and charges. What are the costs and charges that you are looking at? So for the registered rad tech, so here are the government fees. No, here there are government fees and the processing fee. No, the government fees are payable directly to the government of Australia and third-party organization. These fees do not go to RPS. Okay, you have to remember that. For example, the overseas qualification assessment fee, that's 388 Australian dollars. If it is adjusted in the website, you may check. Okay. So examination sitting fee, 742. You are going to pay when you use it, pay as you go. No, you're not going to have this money now and pay and send it to someone else. No. I'm telling you, if you are my client, I will tell you when to pay, what to pay, how to pay, why pay, and how to pay it. Okay? Skills assessment as ASMERT 968 as the last time I checked. Application fee for general registration if you pass the test, 209 Australian dollars. This is AUD, much lesser than AUSD. Pearson and the ACT review for the exam, if you are going to take the MRPE, that's 1,850. So, and here down below is my service fee on how to become a resident in Australia. Overall, it is 6,000 AUD but payable in installment. Look at the timeline. So 1,000 AUD down payment, no? Next is upon getting the positive assessment or upon passing the upon passing your examination, that's 1,000. So when will it happen? From the time you engage us, the next payment will be after 6 months. Okay. Next is, or the LOE, no, not the exam, LOE, sorry. Positive assessment. This one takes about 3 to 4 months. No. So sometimes, say for example, if you get a rejection or unconditional or you get rejected, so but you have your LOE, so your payment will be until here only. Okay, you're not going to proceed with this because your pathway is becoming a registered rad tech. Okay, but if you pass, you continue. Okay, if you pass your skills assessment, you continue with this. All right, so that is RPS is very my fees are very equitable, it's very fair, no, for everyone. No, now let's continue. So the cost and charges for the visa, it is in the website of the immigration. You can always check that, no. As of I think it has gone up already from 4765, the main applicant. So when are you going to pay? When you lodge your visa. When will it happen? Maybe once you get your invitation, maybe after a year. Okay, so that's how. That's why I'm showing it to you. Now, what are the benefits in becoming, no, a permanent resident in Australia? Number one is that you will be one of us. You can remain indefinitely here. After 4 years, you will become a citizen. As a resident, you can do any job. If you don't want to become a RadTech anymore, you may, because you are a resident. You have your Medicare with you whenever you get sick, then you can get checked up. No, all right, and so on and so forth, like the bank loans and free education for kids. All right, okay, so that's it. As you can see, that is a very comprehensive discussion of the pathway for RadTechs, for the APRA for registration, and for the ASMERT for the skills assessment. That's why we do have a lot of engagement, no, of RadTechs the past few weeks, and I'm very happy because they want to take the chance right away because here in Australia it is always changing and now it's very stable. Yeah, the financial year has just opened, so July 1 is the beginning of the financial year here in Australia, and the significance of which is that it is very good in migration. So if you want to become a registered RadTech here in Australia, if you want to become a resident here in Australia, you have to engage RPS Migration and we can guide you through here in Australia. Okay, let me see if you have some questions. Okay, there are no questions. So if you have any questions, you may also ask the case officers. No, we will be following you up on your decision. So if you engage within 5 days, you will be getting a free review of Pearson Test of English and the CCL. All right. So thank you so much, guys. I am very happy to see you all, and I hope that I can see you all here in Australia. This is your registered migration agent, attorney Renante P. Sulit with MARA number 1382407. Thank you so much. Bye.